Good morning, students. Today's topic is India-China relationship. We will deeply dive in the session and try to understand what is the requirement of India-China relationship, why it is in news, and what is the importance of it from exam perspective. Recently, a news has been published in Indian Express that reached agreement with China on resolution of a friction point in India. So, what is the importance of it? Foreign Secretary make announcement ahead of Modi's visit to Russia. As Jaishankar said, we have gone back to where the situation was in 2020. What was the situation in 2020, and what are the disengagement process with China? So today we will see. Firstly, we will see the overview of India and China relationship. So, India and China are two of the world's most populous country, as we all know, with rich historical ties, complex geopolitical dynamics, and significant role on the global stage. So, what was the relationship? So, historical background is this: India and China's relationship was from ancient ties. That was ancient ties when India and China have historical connection dating back to ancient civilization through trade, culture, and Buddhism. The famous Silk Route linked the two nations for fostering exchanges in goods, ideas, and cultures. Along with it, in colonial era, we know that the relationship between India and China was not good, and that was on a limited stage. So later, after the 1947, post independence and early diplomacy, India and China relationship was too much good after 1949, just because of their bilateral relationship, the trade and cultural relationship. Whereas we all know that China has a policy of expansion, their region in Indian region, in their upper region, in their eastern and western region as well. So we have to put our eyes over it. As we all know, multiple relationship has been our relationship has been multiple times has been breached the expansionism policy of China. What was the key events during in this time? So we will see in 1950, as we all know, the India was the first one country who has recognized the China as a Republic of China, and they had established their bilateral relationship by establish the embassy in both of region itself. The second was Panchashila Agreement that was signed in 1954. The five principles of peaceful coexistence were agreed upon, laying the foundation of India-China diplomacy relationship. Later, in 1962, as we all know, the Sino-Indian War was getting a trouble point for the relationship, and both of border conflict made a vast impact over the Indian sovereignty as well as the China's sovereignty. And 1962 Sino War was a turning point in relationship. The border conflict over the Aksai China and Arunachal Pradesh region that was resulted in a brief but intense war. This war left a lasting impact over the bilateral relationship of India and China. Uh, After these 1962 relation tensions, the relationship remained as it is through much of the Cold War, with border dispute and mutual suspensive overshadowing and cooperation. Now look, what is the contemporary issue why the both of relationship are getting more than and worse than before. So first is Aksai China. First is the Aksai China, just because of the control over the Aksai China is on China, but it is claimed by India. In second manner, Arunachal Pradesh, that is controlled by India but claimed by China. Multiple times in China has getting a violent activity in this region by making road and infrastructure, by developing infrastructure in their region. So India has had denied many times that this region is not under the China's expansion policy. Several routes of border talks have been taken place, but no resolution has been reached yet. And there was also a standoff of Doklam, a military standoff between India and China near the Bhutan, China, India, and India transaction. Basically, we all know that Doklam standoff of the 2017 was a major conflict between India and China, where casualty of death was 20. Our 20 military coups has been gotten die in that region. This is most important transaction for India as well as China. There are three transactions in Bhutan, China, and India. In 2020, also a Galwan Valley conflict was happened in that region. That was deadly clash between India and Chinese troops that leads highest number of fatalities since 1967 in that region, more than our expectations, more than our coups has been died. Now we will see the economic relationship between India and China. So let's start. China is one of the India's largest trading partner. Bilateral trade has grown exponentially, but there is a significant trade imbalance with India importing far more than it exports. That leads basically a higher deficit for India in their trade with China. So when the importing was definitely higher than exporting, then the trade balance and balance will be imbalanced. So India realized that China is importing too less than exporting, and India is importing too much than exporting. So the trade would definitely imbalance in that relationship. So what India should do? So India did in that region that India has stopped all the investment of China in our particularly sector like technology, manufacturing. However, concerns over national security and data privacy have led India to take a casual approach. In 2020, India imposed restriction on China investment, especially in technology and telecom sector, amid raising tensions. Now we will see a strategic competition of India and China. So mainly we see that South Asia and Indian Ocean region, China is dominating on a vast level, where they are trying to counter India's trade and impacting India's sovereignty by counter them if them through a string of pearls that was contained Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Indonesia, and Pakistan. In southern region, China is trying to counter India through a string of pearls. And second was Belt and Road Initiative, particularly in China-Pakistan economic corridor is viewed with suspensions by India. Quad and Indo-Pacific strategy. So these all competition is strategic competition are affecting and leads a vast trade impact over the India's sovereignty. Through that, India is trying wherever we have also a second option. We are trying to embarrass this string of pearls through our multiple policy in Indian Ocean. Along with it, we are trying to engage with a quadrilateral group to counter the security of to secure preserve the security of India with a quadrilateral group like United States, Japan, Australia with India. Second one is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and BRICS, that is known as the Brazil, Russia, India, and China's and South Africa's relationship. Both countries compete for influence in regional organization like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and BRICS. So definitely the conclusion would be fruitful. We will see on the map of China India. Now you can see over the map of our lovely India is here, and China is on the upper side, where the China is disturbing too much more our Indian trade culture and technological field. They are trying to dominate their hegemony in their region by making Belt and Road Initiative through the string of pearls and CPAC, China Pakistan economic corridors. So thank you. If you like this video, this is informative video, please like the video, subscribe the channel, and press the bell icon for the next informative video. Thank you so much.